You will be obsessed with this thing endlessly, and you'll be so angry every day and so disorganized in your thoughts every day that you'll go to bed exhausted, feeling like you've done something, but knowing you've done nothing.
Here are your hosts, Ethan and Jason.
Now this is podcasting.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, one and all, to the greatest show on earth, Work Hard, presented by Hyper Premium. My name is Ethan. With me, Jason.
Hello.
Yeah,
How you doing?
Do better than
That's
that.
right. That's right.
Right.
Hey,
Thanks,
Jason
man.
here.
Hey,
I'm back again.
We're back again.
Can't get rid of us.
Can't get rid of us. 1 week after next.
Facebook can downgrade our posts all they'd like, but we're still here.
Yup. Can't do it. Can't keep us down. I don't have a job. I've got nothing better to do. Now what? Libtards. Ha. Guys, welcome to the show. Welcome back to Work Hard. Week number 82, I believe.
Yeah.
Week number 82, episode number 82. Going big. We are, we're growing, actually, a lot. This week was kind of nuts.
Yeah, well, the shorts have really been doing it.
Shorts have helped. Yep, we're like 5,000 views a month on YouTube. Shouts out. Thanks, guys. Stick around for that.
Hit that subscribe button. Appreciate it.
Hit the like and subscribe button. I'm streaming now on Rumble, not on Twitch. I thought I was going to stream on Twitch, but that's butts. And I can say on Rumble. So we get to do that, which is way better because it's hard to play. It's so hard to play video games and censor yourself at the same time. It's insanely difficult. I would say.
I'm sure it is. Hard to podcast, too.
Yes. yeah. Do you know who PewDiePie is?
Yeah, actually I do.
Did you ever see the video of him saying the N-word?
No.
There's a video of him playing PUBG.
Okay.
And he's like trying to shoot some guy, and the guy like tricks him, or I don't know, whatever. He goes, "Oh, you," says it. Very funny. I won't say it. I won't make you bleep it, but it does. Goodness. Every time I say the N-word, or well, every time I talk, basically, Jason has to edit in. It creates another 10 minutes worth of work for Jason if I don't. If
I'm actually pretty quick at it now. It's not that big a deal.
Oh, so you're saying I can say it?
I'm not saying you should swear as much as you feel like saying it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's a good example to
That's
constantly
not a good
be swearing.
Example. No.
Not the example we're trying to set here on Work Hard.
No, it's not. Swearing.
Which is why it gets bleeped.
Swearing, being a provocateur in general is a hammer, but swearing is definitely a scalpel. That's a precision instrument. Swearing.
It does have to be used very. We've talked about this in a past episode, and there is a biblical defense for certain uses in very particular situations, which we would defend, and others that we don't. But we pretty much bleep all of it so as to not cause offense, especially if you have your kids in the background while you're listening to this.
Yeah. Well, also YouTube is we just got to bleep it for YouTube. Because if we want, we've got a business to run, all right? So, guys, we've got a medium show today. I know I say big every time. Today's medium. Not really. Today's big. It's the biggest one yet.
Uh-huh. Just keeps growing.
It just keeps growing. It keeps getting bigger and bigger. I'm sick. Last week I was exhausted because I was teaching my daughter how to sleep in a bed. That has not abated. She still hasn't learned. We're week 2. We're grinding, baby. She gets up at night, crawls into the bed with us. Can't sleep. I don't sleep. I have a headache. Now I've got a sore throat. I'm getting sick. I can feel the fever setting in. Jason is going to be down this week probably because we shook hands. That's over. It's over for him already.
Yep, I'm already halfway in the grave.
Yep. So I apologize. I know last week's episode I wasn't doing any of my normal like saying something. Well, I guess I was saying enough offensive stuff, but nothing like crazy or being loud or whatever. But that's going to repeat again today. Sorry, this is going to be kind of a drab,
A mellow
episode. But I think that's fine because I'm going to be kind of attacking our regular audience this time, so it's probably a good idea to
not go too hard.
Yeah, not go too hard. Try to make it at least somewhat
A little less
palatable.
abrasive.
Yeah.
Want everyone to get the message.
Yeah.
So I've got a new hat today.
Longhorns hat.
Yep, Longhorns hat.
Where'd that come
Not
from?
a Longhorns fan. It came from a dumpster.
This story better be interesting, dude.
It came from a dumpster.
Okay. That's it? That's the
Not
story?
me. No, I didn't get it. So my mother-in-law loves a good deal. And there's
Okay.
no better deal to be found than dumpster diving.
Yes.
So there's out where they live, there's a secondhand store, and the secondhand store has a dumpster behind where they put all the stuff they don't figure they can sell. And they don't care if you just come and take stuff away. There's stuff sitting out next to the dumpster apparently.
Yeah.
And so you don't even really have to like get in the dumpster necessarily,
Just
but there's
walk up
stuff
and grab
out
it.
there and like, hey, what do we got today that's free?
Yeah.
And so my middle daughter and her went out there and they found 2 different hats. One has like the brand name of what I learned was a golfing company.
Sick.
I also don't golf. So neither hat fits.
Don't watch football, don't watch golf.
No,
Nice.
I don't follow any sports.
That's true.
Never have, really.
It's kind of gay right now. Sports kind of suck right now. They're not fun to watch.
Well, I was doing it long before it was gay, I suppose.
Yeah.
So I was being gay back then.
Okay. All
Now
right.
I'm
No,
now
I'm saying
being
it's
cool.
gay. It's gay to watch sports.
Oh, to
Right
watch
now.
sports.
Sports are in the trough right now, bro.
Okay.
They're not good. They're not good. It's all
Anyway,
bad.
but another one of the items though that that they found was a waffle iron.
Nice.
And we have very limited counter space at home, so we're like, we don't have space to have a waffle iron taking up a whole square foot
Yeah.
of that precious real estate.
Yeah.
And so it was it was put out like in the shed or it got left outside or something. Somehow it got very muddy. And we
Muddy
woke up.
waffles.
What's that?
It's a muddy waffles.
Muddy waffles, gritty. We got a
Yeah.
lot of sand out there. No,
Yep.
but my daughters will often try to make breakfast in the mornings
Nice.
if we don't get up before they do.
Okay.
And so if we sleep in, and by sleep in I mean like 6:30 or 7,
Right.
they're up trying to make breakfast,
Yes.
getting into stuff.
That's sweet.
So like it is very cute.
Yeah.
And overall, I would prefer that, right?
Yeah,
but it does.
yeah,
I woke up one morning and came and found like mud all over the floor, which was. And I was like, Miriam, what is this mud on the floor? Where did this come from? She's like, well, part of it's from the waffle maker, and part of it's from our feet, because they'd gone outside in the mud, got the waffle maker outside, came in and washed it,
Excellent.
and made waffles.
Excellent.
And yeah, anyway.
That's good. That's very good.
So I'm wearing another one of the dumpster finds.
Nice. The
Fits nice. It's comfortable. Thanks, Mom, if you're watching.
shouts out, mom. See, I'm sick, dude. I can't even think. Oh my goodness.
We're at 8 minutes.
Let's
You
go.
want
Let's go. No, I can do this. I can do this. I got something funny to say.
Okay.
I showed you that video. So there's a video online right now circulating of a gentleman laughing at dinner. His girl's recording. She asked him a question. She said, "I don't want to have children in this economy." He starts laughing. She gets mad. Starts recording him in the middle of the laugh in order to be like, "I'm going to send this to my friends." Being, he's such a dickhead. She's recording him. He's laughing. She goes, "Why is that funny?" And he goes, "Because you don't know shit about the economy," which is so funny, dude. This is gonna be tough. This is bad. I do not feel good. That's not funny. I'm sorry. That's not funny to explain. You're gonna have to go look it up. Sorry. The funny part of that, okay? The funny part is, I do think we are. Jeez Louise, I should have at least gotten some water. I'm in a shambles. We should. I do think that and this is not to disparage girls, right? I like girls, I like women. It's just I like to use a saw to saw things, and I like to use a fork to eat things. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
I understand.
I don't like when women try to do guy stuff, and I don't like when guys try to do women stuff.
You don't want male midwives?
I don't want male midwives. I don't want dudes painting their fingernails. I don't want guys saying things like talking about color distributions on walls. I don't want to hear that. All right. But I think we're phasing out of this moment in history, this brief blip where we decided to suspend culture and innovation, the evolution of culture and innovation, in order to placate women. I think we're exiting that, and we're getting back to a time where guys are like, you're a girl. You just don't even understand what you're talking about. So I'm going to negate. I'm just going to ignore that.
Yeah. Which is what this guy did.
Yes, which is exactly what he did. This is a women in the workplace knock. That's what this story is. Okay, so I was on a plane. Okay, and I had a coworker who was a girl, older woman. She's probably in her late 40s, and she was in charge of. It doesn't matter. The details don't matter. She's giving me. She called me to give me numbers for a customer.
Okay.
I'm on a plane. The plane's moving. We're taking off. I need those numbers so that I can connect to the Wi-Fi, shoot the email, whatever. Right.
Gotcha.
So I answer the phone. I'm like, hey, I'm taking off. What is it? What they agree to? She starts telling me the story of them having the conversation.
And you're like, just the facts, ma'am.
And I was like, lady, I said her name. I was being very kind to her. I said, lady, literally just say the number. I just need you to tell me the number. And she got mad at me and said, that is literally what I'm doing.
Literally, it's not.
That's actually quite literally it. Unless you are actually saying, all right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Those are the numbers. Those are the numbers that we have. Say some of those together in a string. That's the only thing you can say right now.
The phone call should be 7 seconds.
Yes, I'm taking off.
Yes, hi, Ethan. The numbers are 685.
Yeah, I answer with, hey,
thanks.
We're taking off. I'm going to lose service. What's the number? Starts telling me the story. She says, I'm literally telling you the number. I say, you've only said words, no numbers. What's the number? She got upset, didn't tell me the number. Situation delayed by like 3 hours. I land. My boss is like, what's happening?
You're like, ask Bernice.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Hey, yeah, ask and yeah. Call her. You talk to her. You tell her to get you the number. See what happens.
You try to get it in less than 15 minutes.
Yeah. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy. And my wife was laughing very hard yesterday because we were talking about this exact thing at dinner.
Yeah.
And I was talking about how it's like, women that to women, thinking and feeling is the same thing.
Oh, gotcha.
They're identical. And so
that's how they do their thinking, is talking through the feelings.
Right. Yeah.
That's
exactly.
the process.
Which is perfectly
Which is fine, but it doesn't work in I need it in 7 seconds, so I can still send an email before I lose service.
Right. Or I'm trying to make large scale. That is a phenomenal way to interact when your primary concern is interpersonal.
Right, exactly. But
when you're raising
dude on the
kids,
phone that you've been like, Justin, I just need the numbers. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
685.
Boom. Yeah.
Thanks, bud. See you later.
When
Bye.
you're trying to decide who to vote for, stuff like that, this is feeling instead of thinking is not how you do it. Right? When you're trying to deal with finances, make decisions like that, it's all about thinking.
Yeah.
So I was telling my wife was laughing because she was remembering a time like a few weeks ago or a year ago or whatever where she hit me with something crazy.
Yeah.
And she said, I've been thinking, and said this, and I went, have you been thinking that or have you been feeling that? And she smiling, arms folded, mad, but that's funny because it's exactly what was happening type situation. She was like, feeling it. And I was like, okay, give me 30 minutes to think through this. I'll get back to you with the answer. Just like, fine. Had a good laugh at that over dinner.
Nice.
Yeah. So,
You ready for couch
let's
cushions?
do it, dude. Let's dive
All right.
in, dude.
Here's the
Save
segment
me.
of the show between the couch cushions where we recommend old media that you may not be aware of or you may have forgotten about. So, Ethan,
Yes.
what's your recommendation for this week?
My recommendation is The Insider with Al Pacino and what's his name? The guy from The Gladiator?
Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe. Okay, movie's fantastic. The movie is that movie in Spotlight. The movie Spotlight.
Maybe you should just save that for another recommendation.
Well, Spotlight's not old enough. It's still kind of.
Oh, is it?
I
Okay.
think it's like 2015, something like that.
Yep. Nope.
2014.
Too new.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
But those two movies are part of the reason why I decided I like when I was in high school. I knew I wanted to be a writer, and I wanted to. And the question was, do I go write on do I try to go write on sitcoms or do I try to go be like a reporter? And those two movies are a big part of the reason why I chose reporter.
Okay.
But they're very, very good. The Lowell Bergman was an investigative reporter. He's still alive, but he just retired. He was an investigative reporter. The story is about when we found out how we proved that the big tobacco companies knew that cigarettes were addictive and were in fact intentionally making them more addictive.
Gotcha. Okay.
So the story, I can tell you the story without ruining the movie because the movie's dramatized, however you say that, whatever. The story is pretty profound. This guy, Weidman, I think is his last name, blew the whistle on the whole situation, and it's crazy. So he got death. People were showing up at his house, putting bullets in his mailbox, stuff like that.
Oh, man.
And they called the FBI, and the FBI showed up, and were like, "What caliber is your gun? Did you put the bullet in the mailbox?"
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and Lowell Bergman, the GOAT of investigative reporters, in this exchange actually did happen, right?
Okay.
This really happened. He called.
This is in the movie, but it was
This
real?
is in the movie, but it really happened in real life.
Okay.
He calls some head honcho of the FBI and is like, "Your guys showed up and like put the feet to the fire for this dude who's being harassed allegedly by the big tobacco companies." And the guy's like, what do you want from me? It's like, whatever, blah, blah, blah. He says he's not going to do anything. And he goes, "I want you to figure this out, or I'm going to start asking questions about why their former employee, why their former supervisor, their former boss is now head of security at one of these big tobacco companies. I'm going to find out if they've ever been offered any jobs for working security at any of these places.
Yeah.
After they get done at the FBI play, whatever, blah, blah, blah." I'm just like, nails this FBI agent. And he's like,
Okay.
"All right, I'll figure it out." Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll get back to you on that, lol.
Yeah, so it's stuff like that. It's like it's so good, man. It's such a that movie is like it's a testament to what we used to be in this country when Christianity still had some significant sway on just regular secular people. You know, regular people were so ingratiated in a Christian culture that even they had a sense of like, I have to do the right thing here.
Gotcha.
And how willing people, good men, great men, how willing they are, how much they're willing to give to do what's right. It's a good story in general about that, and the movie captures that very well. Weidman has said in later interviews that movie did a very, very good job. While it's not completely factually accurate, obviously, he says,
Right.
it's a movie. And what the events took half a decade. They had to capture it in 2 hours.
Right.
So he's like, it
Obviously condensed and
Yeah.
dramatized in
And he's
ways
like-
to make it flow properly and all that.
Yeah, but he's like, that movie does a very good job of capturing how distressed I was during that time.
Okay.
So it's great. It's great. It's a
Very
phenomenal
nice.
movie. Yeah.
Okay. My recommendation comes from Chris, actually. So shouts out to our brother Chris for recommending this to me, and we ended up ordering it. I think he actually recommended this at one of our Brotherhood meetings, and I ordered it immediately off eBay. It's a 1954 film a musical called Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. And it's like takes place in the, I think it's the 1850s on the Oregon frontier. And I'm from Oregon, so it's kind of cool. And I also, apparently, all the brothers in the movie have red hair and beards.
Excellent.
So
nice.
It was brought up to me because I look like I could be in the family of brothers. So these seven brothers have a homestead off in the Oregon frontier, outside of this small town. And the oldest brother is kind of the leader of the family. He comes into town for trading, like a couple of times a year. And so he's looking for a wife this one time because they have nobody to cook or keep house for them. And so in about like 5 minutes, he convinces this young lady to marry him. And so he takes her off, and she's getting all dreamy about being a wife.
There's going to be a field, and I'm going to make...
Right.
She was getting Instagrammed.
She was getting Instagrammed, yeah, way before its time.
Yeah. She was on the feed.
And then she goes, oh, it's just going to be me and you, and and he's like, because he knows his 6 brothers are waiting at home.
Yeah.
He just took her away from a boarding house, and so part of her reason for leaving was because she was tired of serving all these men, these rough men. So they get a courthouse wedding and are off to the races.
Yeah.
And he gets there, and then like all these guys start popping up out of nowhere, and they're just awkwardly like they just are staring at her and whatnot.
Never seen.
So
a
they're
woman.
super creepy about it at first. Or just awkward.
Yeah. She's eating breakfast. They're just staring at her while she's eating breakfast.
It's very funny.
Yeah.
But anyway, so she eventually like tries to sophisticate them to a degree where they can actually get married and woo their own wives. It's a very funny movie. Some of the musical numbers are better than others, so it's not like Sound of Music where every single one of them is a masterpiece.
Like a profound entry into the canon.
Yes, exactly. Some of them are like, you could skip that one.
Yeah.
But overall, really funny movie and child appropriate for the most part.
Good.
There's a baby in the end, a legitimate baby, but then all the other women claim that it's theirs, and therefore they get a shotgun wedding for the rest of the brothers.
That's genius. Genius.
It wraps up real fast.
Nice.
There we go. I spoiled another movie.
Yeah.
I was going to try not to do that.
Damn, dude.
No, that was the reason I bring that up is because it was a little surprising watching it with all our kids for the first time. I was, oh,
that's good.
But anyway, it's nothing's really overt. Most of the stuff, the innuendo goes over the kids' heads, and it's in pretty good, clean fun.
Good. Good. Nice.
But there is some subtle marriage humor, first night humor for the adults.
Yes.
To enjoy. So anyway,
good.
Ethan, what do you want to talk about for the main topic today?
What do I want to talk about? All right, this is what I want to talk about. I want to talk about. What do I want to talk about? I want to talk about. You see, the thing that I want to talk about is
the point you're ultimately trying to make.
The point I'm ultimately trying to make. The topic, is y'all being whack. All right. Now, if you haven't been able to tell, catching up with it, if you've been sticking around, all right, you're one of the OGs. I spend a lot of time on the internet. All right, I'm a tech worker, or was a tech worker. Video games is like my primary hobby. I have a nice big computer on a nice big desk. It's like my favorite thing in the whole world. So I get a lot of exposure to people who are, Jason, you don't know this term, but it's terminally online. All right.
I know that term.
Okay, nice. I get a lot of exposure to a lot of different world views.
Ready Player One people.
Yes.
Would
great
be the
Ready Player
the embodiment of that persona.
Yeah. And these people are they're right wing, they're left wing, they're conservative, they're neocons, they're paleocons, they're conspiratorial people, they're right up the middle. Everything is normal. All of these institutions, they're just a little corrupt. It's not an organized thing. Yeah, whatever. All manner of people under the sun. All right. One of the issues, and this is like something I see even with people I interact with at church. It's mostly young guys. All right. I'll just come out and say it. Okay, young guys. there is a big baby in bathwater issue going on right now. And that is that the modernity has failed to produce, to replicate the results of the boomer and even Gen X generation. The results, it has failed to reproduce the prosperity that those people received for millennials and Gen Z. And so millennials and Gen Z, millennials are out of college, obviously, and are working and have become disenfranchised with that work. Gen Zers are leaving college and entering into the workforce and have been harangued and bombarded by internet and media content created by millennials, which is devoid of art and love, and they are coming into a workforce. They're coming into a working environment in the U.S. that has produced no new innovation, that has invented nothing, that has been hollowed out and destroyed, and so they are seeing a system that has failed and have decided that they're going to throw out the bathwater, but there is a ton of baby in that bathwater. A ton of baby in that bathwater. And a good, I was trying to look it up just now. I want to cite this guy so I don't rip his situation without citing him correctly, but I can't find the Google search now, obviously, which is great. So I'm going to have to keep just pressing back until I find it. Here we go. Okay. Jack Stauber, Stauber. He's an animator. He made a very short animation called Rain. And you should look it up. I think a lot of people will find it. A lot of young guys will be like, hey, this is exactly how I feel. But basically the animation is a gentleman standing in the rain. And he goes, yo, the rain is nice and all, but I don't really want to get wet. And so he walks under the awning, and it's still raining on him. And he goes, hey.
What the?
It's still raining. And he looks up, and the rain is just coming through the awning as if it's not there. And he goes, well, that's not... I walked under the awning. I did what I was supposed to. It's not fair. And then he gets real sad. And that's the animation. That, I think, is what a lot of people are going through today. And I was thinking this week about it because I watched The Insider again, so I was thinking about it, about how when I was in college, so when I got to school, I wanted to be a writer. And it's always what I wanted to do. And I got to journalism school, and being a reporter was already a dead profession. That was already over. Trump had just gotten elected or was about to get elected. And
the first time. Yeah, the first time. Trump was about to get elected the first time. And by the time I got to school, the idea that journalism, that being a reporter and an advertiser were the same thing, had already infected the world. So modernity had already killed journalism in that way, but also it was dying because, or it was dead because it was the first time that I truly got exposed to how corrupt and backwards these organizations were, because there was this idea of newsworthiness and truth-telling, and all of these ideas have been twisted such that it basically, these ideas that were designed to instantiate in people this idea that something being true and something being important were the two things that you needed in order to make them worth reporting. Mm-hmm.
And they had been turned on their head to basically mean you can just decide what the truth is. This thing may be worth reporting, but if the facts of the matter are destructive towards minorities, if they are upsetting to the backwards morality that we've taught you, that's coming from the Frankfurt School and coming from pagan ideas of effectively this Gnostic belief that everything good is bad and everything bad is good. If it doesn't fit that, then you are allowed to contort the truth such that it matches your truth, or the truth that's more useful, in the sense that it will further your agenda or not hurt the people you've decided you don't want to hurt. And so that was the state of journalism when I got there, and that was extremely frustrating. And I didn't realize all this stuff until sometime later. Looking back on it, when I got there, I was very angry and was very provocative in class and very troublesome, and ultimately ended up having to leave. And so I've been in these shoes, is what I'm saying. I've been in the exact shoes of young people right now who are like, well, the whole thing is bunk.
Yeah.
So I'm going to
just a scam.
Yeah, it's all a scam. So we got to get rid of black people or whatever, whatever dots you're connecting.
Right. That would be the baby.
Yeah, that would be the baby.
There's legitimate bathwater to be thrown out. There's a big problem. The awning is not keeping the rain off of you.
Right.
But instead of fixing the roof of the awning or whatever the case may be, you're getting rid of maybe the whole building.
Right.
Something.
Yeah, just tearing down the building. Yeah, and here's my point about all of this stuff is that if you see that there's dry rot in some of these beams, or maybe a lot of them, or whatever, or the roof needs repairing or whatever, you get mad and you go, I don't want to repair the roof, and you tear down the whole building. Well, now you don't have a building. Now what? Now you don't have a house. You went from having a broken house to having no house. Now what? You fool. What are you going to do now? Idiot. Oh, I don't think we should vote. I don't think we should vote. I think we should put a despot in place who's going to cut my head off eventually. It, retard. I'm sick of it. I'm over it. All right, we've got this guy Corey Mallard. I brought him up before. They had a dispute. Corey Mallard and Doug Wilson had a dispute. Well, whatever. I'm not getting into the details of all this stuff. It's gay. Corey Mallard is this guy who he was a pastor. He's been excommunicated.
Oh, okay.
I saw so update on his.
He had a debate with White.
James White.
White.
James White.
I watched the commentary video from Doug Wilson on the debate.
Yeah, I tried to watch the
debate.
It was tough.
I think it was one of his Blog and May blog posts about their debate. So
yeah. So the
Mallard has gone way off the deep end.
Well, I think he's always off the deep end, but he's one of these guys who I mean, whether or not he believes anything he's saying, I don't know. He's caught in the I'm not focused on truth. I'm focused on getting famous. So I'm going to have to be a shock jock loop. So he has to say increasingly absurd things
to continue
to grow
getting
his audience.
Famous.
Yeah, and so he's caught in this cycle where he gets into a room with a guy like James White, who's like old and senile and needs to retire, who's like spazzing out on the internet, and it's like it's done. Like his best days are behind him. Like he shouldn't. Corey Mallard has this like very Jewish, calm predisposition that's very manipulative. Like, I'm being calm right now, so I'm right and you're wrong.
Right. Now, Doug mentioned that he would say something really absurd and then just act as if it was a serious thing.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And that's a very Jew way to
then
behave.
It wouldn't play out. He would get, like, the argument would get dismantled by White.
Right. Yeah. The point that I'm saying about this is that if you're getting in a room with a guy like James White, and you shouldn't be able to mop the floor with him. Okay, he's old. All right. If you can't beat James White in a debate at this point, then you're wrong. All right. Sorry. And Corey Mallard's position is that the Holy Spirit can't sanctify black people as well as it can sanctify white people. All right. Now, hey, that's a little bit of baby. There's a little bit of baby in that bathwater.
Just a wee bit.
Yeah, just a wee bit of baby there.
Yikes.
Yeah, so Corey Mallard is just like totally fried, and they were James White was trying to get him to admit, like, this is you just are in the sin of racism. Like there's just I don't know what else to say. So he's trying to get him to kind of say that. And so he's
just like, I can't believe I'm debating an actual racist.
Yeah, there's none of them. There's so few actual racists that exist.
We found
I'm not
one.
even an actual racist.
Yeah.
Like, I am racist, and even I'm not an actual racist. There aren't any real racists anywhere. And we found one. And
Who got shockingly popular.
yeah, who got shot. Well, I mean, I don't know. That's a whole separate thing. That's a whole separate issue.
Whether or not it's popular versus just watched for the absurdity of it.
Yeah, like why is Doug Wilson even talking about this guy? Like, what does it matter? Actually, Doug Wilson made a great point, which is that this is a pastoral duty. This has nothing to do with platforming or social media or whatever. He just genuinely, as a pastor, is charged with like going to Corey Mallor personally and saying,
yeah, a large part of his thing at the end was just
you need to repent.
Yeah, a call to repentance for Corey Mallor.
Right, and those that follow him. And so there's this huge bathwater, or there's this huge baby issue with guys like Corey Mallor, with people who, and maybe to make this more palatable to you guys, all right? I sincerely believe women shouldn't vote, or it shouldn't be legal for women to vote. All right, I think we should execute murderers and beat everyone else. Well, execute rapists and murderers and beat everyone else. I don't think prison should exist. Okay, I have some very radical right-wing views. All right, I do think that there's some very serious consequences that we have to discuss about mixing ethnic groups together.
About the practicalities of how well they just get along.
Yeah, is diversity really actually that helpful at all? These are things
as far
that I
as
do.
Societal cohesiveness,
Right, social cohesion.
not on the basis of I don't want to be next to somebody who.
I mean, I don't want to.
I don't want my neighbor.
I don't want to be next to somebody who is roasting a pig on a spit in their front yard. I don't. Sorry, don't. And they're always brown, so I guess I don't want to live next to brown people. When they stop doing that, then I'll want to live next to them.
Right, but it's not because their skin color. It's because you don't want the neighborhood to smell like roasted pig all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Or you don't want the visual.
I'm not deeply offended by their brownness.
Yeah, and that's the difference.
Yes, I'm deeply offended by the fact that
the difference between you and Corey Mallor,
right, is that
Corey Mallor is saying they have a spiritual block to getting saved because of their brownness.
Yeah, God's
and
limited.
You're saying I don't like the things their culture does.
Right. Yeah.
I don't want my neighbors to be doing things that are culturally very different than what I'm doing.
Right. And again, here's a little bit of bathwater for you, not baby. All right. The question. There's a lot to be debated still and understanding about where does culture come from, right? How much do genetics play into this, right? Is there something ingratiated in people that makes them act? Is there to make this palatable for people who are uppity about racism? Is there something genetically predisposed in white people to make them more neurotic? Is that a thing? Is there something genetically in black people that makes them predisposed to being more violent? Is that true? We can't even ask these questions right now. I mean, we can now. The Overton window's moved over enough.
Right,
a
few years ago you couldn't.
Yeah, a few years ago you couldn't ask these questions. Now we can. But those are still questions. Those are debates we need to have. Those are things we need to figure out. Not this female, the system, I can't get a good job and it must be the fact that the cities are full of black people who are violent. That's baby. All right? So you got to stop. All right? You got to take a beat, take a breath. You need to figure out what's going on. And I think ultimately the point I am trying to make here is that the system, I've said this on this show 1,000 times, and I'll say it again. The system has fallen apart. All right? A little bit. We'll see. I do think the West has a unique ability to die and experience rebirth and resurrection. I think that the system that exists here is more robust than most people believe. There's a way out of where we are now. There is a way out that will allow us to persist into the future for another 200 years. There are several ways out. That being said, right now, houses are way too expensive. You don't get paid anywhere near as much as you used to. These are fundamental problems that stand in the way of people having families. I'm not saying that that's not true. All right. I sympathize with you. That's definitely true. The numbers are clear. There's no refuting that. That's obvious. It's just basic math. Okay. The solution, though, is not ruminating helplessly about the system itself. If only we could make it illegal for women to vote. If women just wouldn't vote. If that's your thing, if people would just, if this would just, it's never going to just. It's never happening. Okay? That it's not possible. It isn't going to happen. All right? I'm optimistic. Maybe if it does happen, it'll have nothing to do with you. Won't have anything to do with me or Jason. It will be God's providential will in the world. Okay? It has nothing to do with you. Your solution, unfortunately, you can begrudge, you can gnash your teeth and shake your fist at God or Mexicans or Indians or globalists or Alex Jones or Jews. You can shake your fist at whatever organization, whatever group of people, whatever situation you want to shake your fist at. You can stand there and shake your fist at it and be right. You'll be right. In your anger, you'll be right. But you will lose more money, you will be poor, and you will not have a family. You will spend all of your energy paying attention to this huge world that you can't affect, all this stuff that you can't change. You will be obsessed with this thing endlessly, and you'll be so angry every day and so disorganized in your thoughts every day that you'll go to bed exhausted, feeling like you've done something, but knowing you've done nothing. And your life will have moved no further. Right now, it is grind time. It is put your little eyes on your little life. That is the time it is. It is to make sure that the laundry is done on time. It is to make sure the trash is out on time. It is to make sure that things are going correctly in your life, organizing your life. Because that is the only thing that you can control, is the elements of your life that are immediately around you. And generally, you don't even have control over those. You just get to control how you react to them.
Yeah, true.
It is not time what they want. The people who have organized this entire situation, what they want, what they hope, is that you are paying attention only to to your Twitter feed and to the news. That is their hope. You are letting them win. When you are going on Instagram and scrolling forever, going, that's right, they do fight in Taco Bells. It is unsafe to go to gas stations in Dallas. You can't go into Portland. When you're doing that, they win. All right? Now, when you turn your phone off and you go to church and you sing hymns and you meet a young lady there, who's winning now? All right? Now, you can hold all those little beliefs. All right? I have all those little beliefs. I see black people and I go, take it out of your hair. Get a normal haircut. You pull your pants. I see it. I do that too. All right.
Pull your pants.
I do that too. Okay. But then as soon as I have that thought, I go, I have 2 meetings today I need to handle. I got to get Jason like 6 pieces of, I don't know, whatever. I think of whatever I have to do. All right.
Whatever Jason's bothering me.
Yeah.
For.
Whatever Jason's texting me going, hey buddy, did you forget?
How are the stickers going?
Yeah. How are the stickers going? It's a good one. There we go. Got it.
Real life examples.
How are the stickers going?
Not great.
Not great. They're not here. I've said they were going to be here for 2 months. Where are they? Now, see, This is why Jason handles all the operational stuff and I handle all the creative stuff.
Yeah. That's why he's talking right now.
Yeah, that's why
I'm thinking about stickers.
Jason's got the computer talking about stickers.
Writing down all the words.
yeah, writing down all the timestamps when he's got to bleep it. Yeah. Listen, so you got to... You need to figure out how to improve your life, and appealing to the Supreme Court or whatever, I don't care. Whatever thing it is in your head that's like, this is the battle to fight of our generation. We have to get rid of women in the office, whatever. Focusing on that is going to take away from time and energy to focus on your actual life. And I'm telling you this from personal experience. That's what I opened with, okay? I had my career figured out. I had the awning. I knew where I was going to go. I was doing what I was told. I was doing what I was supposed to do. I was a good boy. I went to college. And that all blew up in my face, all right? And I met I had no idea what I was going to do. Hyper premium wasn't even an idea in my head till I was 25. This happened to me when I was like 20. Okay? For half a decade, I just wandered aimlessly. No, just kitchen job after kitchen job. No idea what. I had this rough idea in my head that I needed to get a wife. That's it. That was my only sense of direction. I need to get a wife. That was all I had. And so I've been through the desert.
Maybe she'll be in this kitchen.
Maybe she'll be in this kitchen. Don't find a wife in a kitchen, all right? Those girls are broken, all right? Those girls are... A waitress is a broken lady, all right? Unless they're 19 and they just got there. Then you can go to her and say, listen, I'll take you to a nice place for dinner. We can go get a date, whatever. You'll find I'll be a good husband to you. You have to quit this job. You can't stay here. You'll be smoking weed in 2 weeks. You'll be doing coke in a year. All right, you got to get out of here. You'll have tattoos in 6 months. Keep your kids. That's another just a little side note.
Too many in the wrong places.
Do not
the
let
wrong kind.
Yeah. Unless your kid's gonna go get a job working at like a diner across from the high school that she goes to or whatever he goes to, do not let your kids work food service. That is rough water.
Go watch the movie Waiting.
Yeah. Go watch the movie. Wait, that's actually what it's like.
Yeah.
That's not...
The GOAT did
Yeah.
not mean greatest of all time in that movie.
Yeah, dude, that movie is not...
That's
That is-
not for the faint of heart. That's not a recommendation.
Yeah, it's not
That's
a recommendation.
warning.
That is a warning. Watch that movie as a warning. If you watch it at all, I would not advise watching it.
No, I wouldn't put my name behind that
Just
movie.
read it. Just go read it on Wikipedia. Go read the plot and go,
There you
holy smokes, this is bad.
Yeah.
That is literally what it's like to work in a kitchen. So I've been there, okay? I've been in your shoes. I've been in that exact position. The things have not worked out for me. All right. Now, for whatever reason, the Lord decided to... Well, no. Okay, so here's what happened. I'll tell you another part. So I got I didn't know what to do. So I went back. I went to Austin. I got a kitchen job. I found a girl. I had no idea what I was going to do next. I needed to make money. So I asked my dad to help me get a job doing sales. Got a job doing sales. It sucked. I cried every day in the bathroom. Talked about this. Got a better, somewhat less sucky job doing sales. Still sucked. Still cried every day in the bathroom.
Not quite as hard.
Yeah, not quite as hard.
At least I'm making a little more money.
Yeah. At least I can almost pay my bills. And I lost that job during COVID. Okay, now here it is, the system. All right, this is a big con. COVID, all a scam. Didn't really happen. Whatever. Wuhan lab, bats, Chinese people, or whatever you want to say. All right, I get it. Okay, I lost my job to a fake thing that the system created in order to control me and take and steal money. All right, and they did it well. They did it great. Okay. I didn't know what to do. I was in the car. I'd just been fired the day before. I was sitting in my wife's RAV4, which is a gay little lesbian soccer girl car. And I prayed and I was like, Lord, please, just what do you want from me? What do you want from me? I've had 2 futures that have been taken from me by the system. What am I supposed to do? And the response I got back was, if I told you what you were supposed, I'm going to say the F word. If I told you what you were supposed to do, you're going to f it up. So I cannot tell you where this is going to end. You're just going to have to trust me and just go little by little. And since
God said that to you?
yeah. Yes.
Not in so many words.
Not in so many words. Since that moment in the car, I've had moments of intense distress, moments of more intense distress than I had when I was in college, when I lost, I still struggled with not understanding what the future held. But shortly thereafter, hyper premium became a thought in my mind. I started working on Work Hard. Things started to form, okay? But I didn't stay, this is crazy. I was extremely political. Extremely political. I was going to be a reporter. Okay, I was going to be an investigative reporter, finding out corruption, undoing it, whatever. My one shtick, my big thing was like all the green stuff, all the environmental.
Oh, that's
that,
what
that was my
get
big.
'em?
That was my big thing. Yeah, I can still kind of speak on that at like an expert level of how they move money around and how it's all money laundering and embezzlement.
We've talked
and
about
stuff like
that in one of our previous episodes.
Yeah,
Drawing a blank.
Yeah.
Bountiful Planet probably is what we talked about it in.
Okay,
so
cool.
go back, check out that episode, Bountiful Planet, if you want to hear more about environmental stuff.
Yeah, in a scattered way, I can still kind of describe how those things are all. It's all embezzlement. Crap! What was I saying? That it's gone. But anyways, so
You said hyperpremium started to form in your mind.
right. Oh yes. Okay. Thank you.
That's why I'm here.
When hyperpremium started to form, I realized that I would have to give up being so concerned with politics all the time, with caring about who is in what office and which congressional race was whatever, and knowing the names of congressmen and knowing which bills were where and where they were in the process and what they actually said.
Yeah,
And all,
who's voting on what in what way?
Yeah, what's the polling?
Keeping tabs. Got your spreadsheet of.
Yes, I had to let
Who's
all this
voted
stuff
for
go
what?
because I was just watching. I wasn't. It was that's all you're doing is you're just watching.
Just
it.
absorbing all of that.
Yeah, and so I had to let that go, and I had to stop reading Pat Buchanan and reading all these old political science books. And all right, that was my thing. I was a political science minor. I had to let all that go because I could have no effect on it. I couldn't change anything, and if I wanted to do anything in life that had any impact on anything, I was going to have to let go of just watching this giant system screw me over. I was going to have to let go of that. Okay. And I think the ultimate sort of baby and bathwater situation here is that people want to throw out the bathwater, and with it, they seem perfectly willing to throw out the baby, which is just their life. You guys seem perfectly willing to throw away your youth, to be hostile and angry about this stuff. I know one of our close buddies, one of our brothers, has a very good balance here. He's an attorney. He has a lot of qualms with voting and with the melding of ethnic groups, all the same things. Nick Fuentes up the middle. All right. I think maybe only thinks about it when I bring it up. I think it might be the only time he ever thinks about it. He's very focused on his career, on his family, and on what. So it's not that you can't hold these ideas. Okay, I have no problem with people, finding out. This is one of the things. People find out that the Holocaust didn't happen the way that we learned it happened in school, and they
listen carefully to what he said. He didn't say it didn't happen. He said it didn't happen the way.
I have no idea if the Holocaust happened or not.
Okay,
I'm not.
right.
Here's the thing. I don't care. I'm not looking into it. It's going to take too much time and energy. I have stuff I have to do.
Also, you can't go back.
Yeah, what are you
and
gonna
verify
do?
one way or the other.
Yeah,
we've talked about this with all the information that we have. You have data, but you don't know the origin of the data. You can't go back to original sources in most any case.
Yeah, Hitler's been dead for 30 years in Argentina. That's real. Look that up. You can't go ask the Fuhrer.
But can you?
You'll never know. You'll never know. But people find out. I've got a buddy, shouts out. He's going to probably hear this because he just started listening again. But
nice.
COVID hit and he found out the whole thing everything's a lie, and people get hit with this. And this is the process you go through, okay? I was 13 when I found out 9/11 was created.
Yeah.
Okay?
Manufactured
event that actually was planned and executed by the U.S. government. All right? I was 13 when that happened. I don't know why the Lord decided when you're a teenager, an early teenager, I'm going to let you go through this process so that when you're an adult, you're through it. But people get hit with stuff like this. That whatever event it is, COVID, 9/11, 2000, the financial crisis in 2008.
Something gets through the armor and
something
cracks.
Something wakes you up.
You go, crap.
Yeah, and for the next
well, then if you
10 years,
You go, what else?
What else? And then for 10 years, you go,
Now I have to
everything.
question everything.
Everything is a lie.
And that's where we're at.
Right. That's where
A lot of people
ton
are.
of people are at right now. Is everything is fake. The Earth is flat. It's all holograms. There was the Anunnaki.
Who knows if we've been to the moon?
Who knows if we've been to the moon? All 9/11 just didn't happen. It was all holograms. Like you see that kind of stuff.
So that's where you get some legitimate conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
Mixed in with everything else that really was faked or manufactured or had some evil purpose behind it that wasn't the people they said it was.
Right.
Setups, assassinations by agencies that shall not be named.
Yeah. It's just-
Silencing of problematic individuals.
through execution sometimes.
That's what I meant by silencing.
Okay, nice. Yeah, well, they kill themselves. These people that know things kill themselves a lot.
Yeah.
These people with families.
Shot twice in the back of the head.
They get shot twice in the back. They kill
No,
themselves.
they shoot themselves.
They shoot themselves twice in the back of the head. They drive their silver Mercedes at 120 miles an hour into a tree and it explodes. And then non-local authorities show up. Federal law enforcement officers show up and cordon off the scene so that no other local authorities can get there to do something that would totally be within their realm.
Yeah,
of
so
expertise.
these are all examples of things that just
Michael Hastings, look that up.
don't.
Yeah, actually
Right?
don't. Yeah,
Don't.
don't. The point is don't.
The
look
point
up.
is don't get obsessed with these things.
Yeah.
The point is not to let it derail you, to have your eyes open and question carefully everything that you hear and everything that you see, because almost all of it can be faked.
Yeah.
You see these deep fake, like the AI videos for one thing are getting way better, and you think that the government doesn't have the ability to make better AI than what we see that comes out to you.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. That kind of stuff. I think that like the idea. I do think that obviously the government has probably access.
Come on,
to
they
technology.
implanted that idea in Men in Black that the government always has the best tech, and they only release things after they're kind of done with it or they got something better.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't.
You don't buy that?
I don't buy that. No.
Okay.
I think the government's too inefficient to do stuff like that. I think they muck it up, and it's just too hard to. I think keep those secrets to have whatever. It doesn't
We got
matter,
a few
but-
minutes. Let's wrap it up.
Let's
So,
wrap it up.
yeah, those are all examples of how you can really spin out and just go, well, screw all of it then. What is the point of keeping any of this stuff around if everything is so corrupt? I have no foundation on which to build my life,
Right.
which is completely disorienting. And we get that.
Right.
Because we've been through it, both of us, to one degree or another, or at one point in our lives.
Yeah. Yeah, and I
And
think
a lot of you are going through that.
a lot of you guys are going through that right now, and I think
We hope that's why you're listening.
Yeah, right. I think you can find yourself in this position. You need to be very careful when you are woken up, when you get hit with something. You find out that it's actually mathematically impossible for the numbers that they claimed in the Holocaust to have happened, for that to have occurred, which it is.
Okay.
It's very easy to end up on BitChute watching Europa: The Last Battle and coming away from the whole thing going, the entire world is controlled. Every aspect of my life, whether or not my dryer turns on, is controlled by Jews. And then, and once you believe that, it's over. Like, once you're there, once you're like, Jews are little gods that run everything.
Once you've absorbed that into your thinking.
Then why wouldn't your entire life be organized around getting rid of Jews? Because if the Jews are gone, utopia will be ushered in, and you'll get everything you want.
It all makes sense.
It all makes sense. You'll get your
That's all we have to do.
You'll get your QT Goth GF, and you'll get a big screen TV, and you can play video games all
We've
day.
just got to finish Hitler's great work.
Yeah, we've just got it.
And now you
need
see that you're in a
to
very
read-
bad place.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
You can see where it goes downhill from there.
Yeah, downhill from there. And so I'm not. And listen, I'm not. All right, I get it. Jews. All right, you hear me talk negatively about them all the time. All right, I'm on boat. I'm with you. Okay, it just doesn't matter.
There's some evil ones.
Yeah, there are some evil ones out there. There's a lot of evil ones. There's a
There's
disproportionate amount of evil ones. Don't know why.
They do have a significant amount of power and influence.
Yeah, and
In multiple crucial sectors.
Listen, nobody's saying you're wrong. All right, nobody's not naming the Jew. Okay, nobody's saying you're wrong about that. What we're saying is that it is they if you're right and the Jews do control everything, which that's not true, but if you are right and they do control everything, then obsessing about the fact that they control everything is exactly what they want. So they're winning anyways.
They're just, you're just one of the angry masses that they're steering around.
Exactly. Yes. There's a very...
If. Not what we're saying.
All right, read.
We're saying if that is where you are mentally, you need to get off that train.
You want some educational entertainment? Go get The Creature Jekyll Island on audiobook. That's a fantastic example of how it's not all the juice, right? There's a lot of Anglos in there doing a lot of nefarious things, all right?
We're not clean.
Yeah, look up Colonel House, all right?
Oh my goodness. So the solution.
The solution is to accept. The solution is stoicism. All right. I know there was a time when it was very popular 5 years ago to poop on stoicism, but you just don't care about anything. No, that's not what stoicism is about. Stoicism's idea is that in order to actually get what you want out of life, you have to be willing to let things go. All right. The only thing that ultimately matters. Yeah, stiff upper lip. The only thing that matters ultimately is your relationship with Christ and whether or not your actions are glorifying to God. And if you think that shaking your fist at Jews or the system or whatever in silence in your room by yourself is somehow glorifying to God, my brother, you are sadly mistaken. God has spelled out specifically in Scripture what actions we can take that are glorifying to him. And most of them have to do with diligent hard work and family rearing. All right, if it's not one of those two things, oftentimes it's not glorifying to God. All right, there are obviously nuanced cases where that isn't true. You have C.S. Lewis, you have Paul, you have people who God has decided are not going to be involved in the normal daily grind that most Christians are involved in. But that is not the case for you. It's not really the case for me or Jason. I know we're standing in front of a camera talking to microphones. But the way Jason and I view this is as a kind of a blue-collar, grinding, sort of plodding along, working situation. All right, we view this in the same way Jason views his work in AC, and the same way I viewed my work in sales. All right, as a job. Whether or not you approve of us or whether or not we get famous is totally secondary to what our goals and what we're thinking about when we're doing this kind of stuff. Okay. And so what's the solution? The solution is to pray. The solution is to read your Bible and discover what it is that God has decided you as a man are supposed to do in order to glorify him. That's your responsibility. That's your job. Micromanage your life. Quit worrying about macro management that you have no control over. That's the solution. The solution is Christ, as is all things, in all things. The solution is the grace and mercy and example set by our Savior. That is the solution. So cast aside these petty squabbles and these pathetic little ramblings and rumblings that you've got going on in your head and focus on what God has told you to do. It's just that simple. That's it. That's all I got.
All right. We love you. We are praying for you. Please go to church.
Find a woman. Marry her.
And have some babies.
Thank you. We love you guys. Rumble for the stream that's at least going on Mondays right now. I'm going to try to do a couple more days a week. It's very difficult to play video games on stream.
Yeah.
It's way harder. Way harder than playing video games off.
But please, it would help us out immensely if you went and subscribed on YouTube or Rumble.
Yeah, YouTube or Rumble, yeah.
Substack if you want only the audio. Spotify if you want only the audio.
Yeah.
Yeah, all
Jason,
of that helps.
Jason,
we appreciate
on Instagram,
it.
What are your Instagram and Twitter handles?
Oh, they'll be in the link. They'll be in the show description.
Might as well. Mega Threat on Instagram, Unlimited Harm on Twitter. We love you guys. We'll see you next week. We're out. Bye-bye.